Hello, I'm Wendy, and today I'm going to talk about sketching and why I started sketching again after a very long time and why I think you should sketch too. I've decided to use this as my reference point. This is a photograph that I took when I was on vacation a couple of months ago in the Okanagan Valley of British Columbia, where orchards are all over the place and vineyards. But I love the color of these apples that weren't quite ripe. So what I'm going to do is just sketch, and we're going to talk about why sketching is a really good thing to do. And there's several reasons, and I haven't written them down. I'm just talking about them because I've kind of been there and done that, and I think there's lots to learn. There's so many ways that you can sketch, and you will find your style as you go. But why I think it's important, or why it has been important for me to start sketching again after, like I said, a very long time, is because a couple of reasons really. Because I thought, I don't even know if I can draw anymore. My career took me off in different directions, and I just kind of put all my art to the side for quite a long time. And then I just went, I think I need to just brush up on my skills. And so I thought, I'm getting out some of my old sketchbooks, of which there are many, and see what I used to do. And I discovered that I never was doing a lot of sketching. I was mostly doing things like making notes and ideas for products and business things, and really not focusing on developing my skills. So I thought, this is a little bit unnerving. I didn't realize as an artist that I was so unmotivated to sketch. So I thought, well, only I can change that. So let's see. This isn't going to quite fit here, so I'm actually making some modifications, which is totally fine because it's a drawing. You can draw however and whatever you want to. A lot of it is figuring it out as you go along. So I wanted to develop my skills more. I also wanted to get better at composition. I wanted to get better at being able to see and reproduce what I saw. And so that kind of motivated me to get going. And what I did was I invested in a new sketchbook for one thing, which I actually didn't need because I have a bunch of them tucked away. But sometimes starting with something new kind of gives you a little impetus to get going at it. So I did that, and then I also bought some more of these micron pens, plus I bought a fountain pen, which I love using, but I realized the ink in it isn't waterproof. So if I want to do any kind of watercolor over it, which I do very often, it's no good for that because it'll just smear. In fact, while I'm thinking about it, I will show you exactly what I mean. So I bought this beautiful sketchbook when I was in the US in May. It's handmade paper, which I love. And let me just find it. I'm gradually filling pages. But this one I did with the peonies from my yard in this fountain pen, and then thought, oh, I will paint them. Well, as soon as water touched this ink, that's what it got. It is kind of cool looking, but it wasn't the look I was after, so I didn't pursue that. Okay, I'm going to put in some more leaves here. Another thing I found with sketching for me was it's so absorbing that it's great for your mental well-being. I find if I just take the time, and sometimes I have to force myself to take the time to actually sit down and do it. And I mean, you can stand up, but I'm not so good at that. So I like to sit down and sketch so I can concentrate better. I want to put another apple in here. This one. I think there's another leaf up here, so let's put that in first. And then the apple that sits I'm actually going to move this apple over a little bit so that it's not coming off the page. Bring it down a little bit more. See, here's what happens. I made a mistake there with the shape of the apple. It's a little bit wobbly. And that's okay, because I can go around any of these lines and add to them and make it even more sketchy, or just however I want. I'm going to just put a leaf up here too. So why should you sketch as well? For the same reasons that I should. If you haven't been doing it for a long time and you want to develop your skills a little bit better, just drawing is a great way to do that. There's another leaf in there. Okay, I keep forgetting to just do the little jagged edges there. So there's my sketch, and this is just pen and ink sketch. Now, one thing I could do here, and I think I will, because I'm not sure I want a watercolor today, is look at the shadows and where they travel. So what I'm suggesting for you, and why you should sketch too, is for the very reasons I've mentioned. It's very absorbing, it's very relaxing, and you're accomplishing something at the same time. So there's a feeling of satisfaction in what you create. Anybody who's creative, and that's pretty much all of us, sketching is like the easiest creative thing you can come up with, because it's easy to take with you. You can get little wee sketchbooks like this, or watercolor ones like this. You can also get sketchbooks like this and like this that have lots and lots of room, and basically everything in between. But if you wanted to be able to sketch sort of impromptu, then you can carry one in your purse or your pocket. A little sketchbook and a pen. In fact, I was in a dollar store one day a couple of weeks ago, and they had little sketchbooks like this. I thought, oh, I'll get one for my car, so that sometimes if you're sitting in traffic, or, you know, in my case, sitting and waiting for my husband to come out of the store, something like that, then I can always start sketching. Do I need to do this? No, I do not. However, there's different ways to put shadows in things to give them dimension. This one has a lot of shadow in it, so I'm just going to kind of add it here and take liberties with it as well. And then the leaves, some of them they have more shadow, but I think I'm going to just put a little bit of watercolor on here. Let me see, this one's in shadow, quite a bit of shadow. So I'm just scribbling here. The great thing about sketching is that there are no rules. If you don't like it, you can throw it away. You can sketch in any kind of style you want. The reason I'm sketching as we talk is because I want you to be able to see how quick and easy sketching is. So that took less than 10 minutes to draw that. And you might say, oh, that would take me forever. Well, it wouldn't if you decide to just do it fast. I mean, you can do that. And this is going to be a really loose painting. So if you wanted to actually paint in watercolors as you're sketching, there are simple ways to do that as well. One of them is to carry a little palette of paints like this with you. This one is all blues and greens, but you can put together your own. Just go to an art store and pick out all these little blocks. And a little case like that, you can put together your favorite colors, which I recommend. I recommend, when it comes to color, is choose your favorite colors, or the colors of the things that you love to paint, that you would love to paint. So if it's mountains and they're blue and gray, well, get those colors. If it's forests, you might want dark greens. When I first started in watercolor, I went to the library. I thought, I want to learn to watercolor. I went to a little wee school which had very few options, and art was not even one of them. So I went to the library and got some books, and the first one I got, I liked the look of everything in it, and the author said, go buy these paints. So I dutifully went and bought the paints that painter loved. Well, it turned out as time went on that they were not paints that I loved. They were paints that that artist loved. And they included a lot of browns and sort of earthy colors, and totally not my look. So I'm getting a little off topic a little bit, but I think I answered the question anyway, why you should sketch. So let's move on then to how you should sketch. You should sketch whatever you see that interests you. You can sketch anything that's in front of you. If you're having coffee, sketch your coffee cup. If you're sitting in traffic, hopefully not in the driver's seat, you can sketch the car in front of you. If you're at a restaurant, you can sketch your meal. If you are taking a break from shopping, you can sketch people walking by. Or you can sketch things that interest you. Like there's an artist I follow on YouTube who's been doing houses. So she's fortunate that she lives in England and all the houses are quite gorgeous. I live in Western Canada where most of the houses don't have as much character. Well, one thing I like to create with is doorways and gardens and window boxes and potted plants and things like that, and apples. So that's just a handful of ideas. But if you have chickens and you want to sketch chickens, well, sketch them. Or just pick something off a site where you like the look of the work. You can, for example, find pictures online. I just wanted to share some of my thoughts on sketching and creating art that I think might help somebody. As near as I can tell, we all need a little bit of encouragement. We all need ideas, and we get them from each other, and that's a great thing. You can see in the background more trees and more apples. And it was funny when I took the picture. I took a little video clip. Then I noticed movement in the next row, and the person who was working there looked over at me. I'm like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize there was anybody there. So there's a few sketching techniques for you that you might find interesting. And you can see how easy it is. In this case, it's nothing fancy, less than 20 minutes, but it's a practice. And to have a practice, like a dentist, you have to practice. As artists, or as even just if art isn't your career, it's just a pastime, which is wonderful. It's so fun to learn new things. I sketch because I need to improve, I want to improve, and I love the product. I love the results. And I think if you start sketching or sketching more, which I highly recommend, you will have the same results. You will love what you do and you'll get a lot of joy from it. Please take a moment and subscribe to my channel and click the little bell so you get the notifications when I have new videos. And I'll see you next time.